Awakening, a Manifesto, by The Person, 2020. There are numerous things studied and practiced in life and in our future existences. As our next births are determined by our actions in our lifetimes, past to this present moment. It is an interesting ripple effect where fate and chance dance together perfectly in the discourse of our decisions and actions. As we reach the edge of exhaustion, that place that borderlines insanity, we break through the fabric of our reality, and this reveals the essence of things, as they are, in their balance of emptiness and wholeness, and in their luminosity. This is like a white light where the ego dissolves completely, and is replaced with care and concern for the collective, not just in what we view as contemporary, but the future of life itself. The pollution of our factories, vehicles, energy sources, chemical spills and testing, the numbness and desensitization to violence and sex, the homeless, the mentally ill, police brutality, prison and tyranny, this injustice and inefficient system of punishment, judicial law, this is all violation of our natural environment. Population density is not something to be ignored. This year may have taught you this, or previous years within your earthly existence. We live our lives and inevitably reach the moment of time before death, and what manifests is sounds and colored lights of our reality. They emerge, and as we recognize them, we try to merge with them. This moment of time before our death is a theme that arises throughout our lives whether or not we recognize them or perceive their patterns woven deeply into our unique experiences. They are presented both in peaceful and wrathful forms, throughout our endless, lived processes, throughout our lifetimes. We encounter throughout this, the projections of our own minds. As we transition towards future births within the 6 realms of existence, where we attempt to reconcile our origin, face our perceptions of fears, in order to transcend to the benefit of oneself to others. We are often caught up in a world of emotional chaos, or our own versions of hell, dominated by hatred, anger, pride and envy and so forth. Every emotion that lingers causes us detriment and torment. Possession brings no contempt to hungry ghosts here. To be human is to have passion and pursue enjoyment, yet also possess suspicion and doubt that undermines our existence. The possibility of enlightenment has presented itself in different forms, different geographical locations, various communities over the evident history of colonial rapacity and its dominance of the West and its ideas that we experience and bear witness to every day of our lives. Whether or not we choose to engage with the questions of this reality, we attempt to dissolve into the streams of light that radiate from the hearts of others. We unlearn and recognize ignorance as a poison that only the truth can release. The notice that the poison of hatred is simply a mirror that reflects us in the life around us is essential to trauma healing. In our false precepts, we wish for the fulfillment of our desires, spiritual and material, yet it is hard to locate ourselves in the present moment. Beyond the many stimulates and distractions of the world, there is an insatiable hunger within us, and our world communicates to us in our experiences, presented as opportunities and obstructions we know intimately as our personal frustrations. This wrathful nature is better understood as compassionate anger, where the possibility of insight and danger increases. All chaos comes with the company of opportunity for growth. As all has a place in the heart of God, we find solidarity in our mutual trust in others, in our relationships founded in friendship. The intermediate states and transitions of growth we have are inclusive to all, even if we do not share all the same pain. We are receptive to their meaning as we grow towards our own types of personal freedom. I hope to introduce you to alleviation, subject matter and conclusion. Our mortal conclusions we all are aware of, and that is death. We proclaim the power of our own truths, towards liberation, in the luminosity of the moment of time before our death. It is simple. The separation of the mind from the body, as you pass beyond the material flesh and blood. The pure illusory body is no longer dominated by darkness, as the luminosity of our paths are revealed. We move towards sealing the entry into the womb of possibility. Free from all complexity, our spirit shines brightly in the consciousness, as death arrives. Do not have any desires or yearning, or else you will wander in limbo throughout your journey. We will grow faint with fear, terror and bewilderment if we allow our projections to overpower our recognition of what is within. Shimmering like a mirage of a plain in spring, we hear the roar of 1,000 thunderstorm claps simultaneously, the natural sound of our souls, that severs and becomes a mental body of consciousness without the material body. We return to an open empty-like space, a luminous void without a center or circumference, in our pure nature. And here we can no longer be harmed. As André Breton said in the Surrealist Manifesto, Le Manifeste du Surrealisme, needless to say, boundaries have been assigned even to experience. It revolves in a cage from which release is becoming increasingly difficult. It too depends upon immediate utility and is guarded by common sense. In the guise of civilization, under the pretext of progress, we have succeeded in dismissing from our minds anything that, rightly or wrongly, could be regarded as superstition or myth. And we have prescribed every way of seeking the truth which does not conform to convention. It would appear that it is by sheer chance that an aspect of intellectual life, and by far the most important in my opinion, about which no one was supposed to be concerned any longer, has, recently, been brought back to light. I hope we can stand together and engage in a new period of enlightenment and problem solving to assist all affected communities through colonization and our domestication to the world. With the acknowledgement that it is through these oppressive forces, our pillars have therefore been built, on the blood of racism and classism. We must act to destroy these oppressive forces to move forward greater equity, peaceful harmony, mutual respect, communal safety, and care for society's most vulnerable members. May our transgression not deter us as we usher into the Age of Awakening, 2020. I hope we can be a source of hope towards the future. So they may exist in safer times we may not have experienced at times. If our productivity was pursued to these standards instead of money accumulated as the indicative attribution to our value, I predict great change.